Hello and welcome to a brand new video of the opposition preview. I am Dia and today I am joined by Sean from the Anfield Talk to talk about our upcoming game against Liverpool. So thank you for joining me, Sean, today. So let's get right into it. Of course, you had a game against Everton on the weekend, Merseyside derby. I was watching the game and I was quite surprised in a way because I didn't see Liverpool being that side of going forward and attacking the team. What did you make of the game?
Hi, DR. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I suppose most Liverpool fans would have been looking forward to seeing us back, like every other fan up and down the country. I suppose it's been a long time without football, so we were eagerly awaiting what the Reds were going to put on, maybe put on a show against their rivals across the Mersey on Sunday evening. But it just never transpired, DR. To be honest. They showed flashes. I suppose the one thing that took us by surprise was the team selection. Okay, we were obviously without Andy Robertson and Mo Salah, who really, that's the whole left side of your. I know Robertson is a left back, but he's a crucial part of our attack as well. So that's your whole left side really gone and had to be changed. So in their place, he went with the tried and trusted James Milner, who you know what you're going to get from James Milner, but one thing that you probably won't get is him marauding down the wing and putting in crosses for the likes of Firmino and Mane to get on the end of. And obviously we were missing Salah's invention, his goals, his threat, his pace, all that. And he was replaced by Minamino, who even before the break hadn't really played a lot. Liverpool fans are hoping to see the best of him. We were hoping to see that on Sunday, and he did show flashes, but obviously not there yet in what Salah can offer. So that was the first thing that we had to deal with, and it just never really happened. We had a lot of the ball, created a few half chances in the first half. Firmino would have been disappointed with a kind of a cross shot, that he didn't connect with well. Brilliant move, Naby Keita. I think I was our best player in the park, to be honest, before he was taken off. We might talk about the substitutions later, but he kind of, he was the catalyst to an excellent move just before half time, which led to Minamino having a shot blocked. But other than that, really, besides a lot of huffing and puffing, a really good work, we had a lot of the ball, as I said. We didn't really force Pickford into any crucial saves or hadn't the Everton back four under a lot of pressure. So when we got to half time, it was disappointing, hoping that things might change in the second half, but they didn't. In fact, even though we still had a lot of possession, we failed to create any open chance really in the second half, which was disappointing. And, as the game wore on, it was Everton who created the better chances, and we were probably lucky in the end to get away with a point, which was disappointing for our first day back.
Yeah, I was, especially in the second half, Richarlison, he had a few chances. You could have crossed it across for Iwobi to have a clear chance as well. So, yeah, they did have their chances. But do you think that's due to rustiness? I mean, we're talking about a pre-show about it. What do you think was the reason for that?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think even the most ardent Liverpool fan would probably admit that before this pandemic arrived and we had to take a break from everything, and football included, Liverpool's form hadn't been brilliant. Okay, we were winning games and winning them comfortably. We were on a fantastic run. So it's hard to maybe argue that our form wasn't good. But, we lost our unbeaten run away at Watford pretty tamely. We won a scrappy home game against Bournemouth, went 1-0 down, turned it around to win 2-1. And even though I think one of our best performances this season was against Atletico Madrid, we still ended up losing the game. So, when the break came, we hadn't been in spectacular form, even though you're 25 points clear at the top of the league. You're going, okay, well, how can we not be in good form? But it had been patchy, and, maybe we were putting it down to a little bit of tiredness. The fact that we're so far ahead, is that mentally creeping into the players that, they have an unassailable lead. Now, with Jurgen Klopp in charge, you'd be hoping that's not the case. And at the end of the day, these guys are top professionals, so you'd be hoping that wouldn't be the case. But when we came back, we were hoping for a bit better than what we saw yesterday. Now, you got to take into account as well, DR, Everton away is a tough game. Okay, you can say there was no crowd. You can take all those factors into account. But, Everton weren't going to lie down and let the Liverpool title party start at Goodison. Even Ancelotti referred to it after, that they were very pragmatic. They were very conscious of not leaving Van Dijk start attacks. They really focused on closing down Fabinho on the ball. and their back four were just didn't want to give that Liverpool front three any space at all. And you have to take your hats off to Ancelotti and to Everton. They certainly didn't want to lose the game, whatever about winning it, but they didn't want to lose. And they etched out a draw, which could have been very easily a win in the end for Everton. Rustiness, yeah, maybe lack of concentration. There was a few injuries which changed the game. Matip had to go off, and Dejan Lovren came on and exactly didn't cover himself in glory when he came on, and Richarlison had a chance. Tom Davies had a great chance after a good save by Alisson from Calvert-Lewin. So look, okay, it's the first game back, a 0-0 draw. They're 5 points closer to the title. But as Liverpool fans, we'd be hoping for a much better performance against Palace on Wednesday night, and I'd expect this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Klopp spoke about the Palace game after the Everton game in his post-match conference. He said how Palace have won 4 in a row. They've kept clean sheets. It's going to be difficult. So, of course, you're expecting to win this game. But do you think it'll be on par with Everton in terms of difficulty? Or because you're at home now, you expect to go out there and win by 2 or 3 goals at least?
No, I see it being a difficult game. I see Liverpool winning, but I see it being a difficult game. And for exactly the reasons that you've spoken about there. Palace are on an excellent run. I watched them against Bournemouth. First of all, look, Bournemouth were poor. They obviously are a team that are very, very low on confidence, and it looks like only a matter of time before they head back down to the Championship. But in taking all that on board, DR, I have to say I was really impressed with Palace. The speed of their passing around the pitch was excellent. Look, Roy Hodgson, he has his critics and he has his supporters, and obviously Palace are very happy with him at the moment. But he's got that team playing to a system, and any Roy Hodgson team that you can see, usually play to a particular system, and he's getting the best out of what he has. I was very, very impressed with their front three. Even our ex-player Benteke, who gets a lot of criticism himself, I thought he really was a focal point of the attack. He held the ball up, and he's an intelligent guy. He knows his limitations. He's able to hold that ball up as a target man, and he gets the likes of Ayew and Zaha into the game, and that's where the Crystal Palace game winners are. So I expect Liverpool's performance to be better. I expect to see Robertson and Salah back into the team, all going well, considering that I think they're going to be fit, reading between the lines what Klopp was saying after the game. So I think with that Liverpool lineup, and then going back to their defensive partnership of Gomez and Van Dijk, and with Salah coming back into that front three, I think Liverpool's performance levels will go up. The fact that they're at home, look, with no crowd, won't make a huge difference. It's still Anfield. They'd still be hoping to get 3 points at home. But I would just expect them to raise the intensity levels. They just weren't there really against Everton. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, Palace will have great confidence coming to Anfield. They're on a good run. And the clean sheets are a huge bonus for them. They're going to be tough to break down. And obviously, they're scoring a few goals as well, which is always good.
Yeah, well, you mentioned a few plays there. Of course, everyone knows about Firmino, Mane, Salah. But is there one player that you would pick out that Palace should watch out for, maybe in midfield or one of them too? You mentioned Naby Keita. He's one that people don't really talk about because of the attacking threat that you guys have. What player would you pick out for that Palace should watch out?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. It has to be Keita. Look, his Liverpool career has obviously been very stop-start. It's an interesting fact, though. Obviously, look, he's been unlucky with injuries. Now, yesterday he did look like he was clear of injury. He's a Rolls Royce of a footballer if he's injury free. I mean, he just runs directly at players. He's very, very difficult to shift off the ball, even though he looks light and has a light frame. He's fantastic on the ball, and he makes things happen. So I definitely think if he can stay injury free between now and the end of the season, he's going to be a big player for Liverpool in getting them over the line, and obviously looking forward to next season. So I think he's a guy that Palace may have to have a good look at in terms of shutting down, which takes me back to yesterday's game, DR. I was surprised to see him come off. Now I know he's had his injury problems, and obviously it was around the hour mark, so maybe Klopp was just a little bit worried that he didn't want him breaking down again. And he replaced him with Gini Wijnaldum. But, he was replacing a real, go-forward player who can, penetrate defences and maybe find that opening with more of a I would say, a kind of a reserved, a kind of a more reserved midfielder. Wijnaldum is an excellent player, a great work rate. He scores goals, but he's a different type of player. And if there was any guy yesterday that was going to unlock the Everton defence, for me, it was Keita. So to see him come off was a bit disappointing. But obviously, look, we're going to trust in Klopp. He has his reasons for bringing him off. So obviously, if he's fresh and ready to go again on Wednesday night, I certainly think he could be a match winner for Liverpool, definitely. So he's a guy that Palace will have to keep an eye on.
So where do you see the game being won and lost? We've talked about our clean sheets. Of course, you got a massive attack. Do you think it's a case of Liverpool putting Salah back in the side, having Robertson back in the side and trying to break down Palace? Do you think that's where the game's being won and lost? Or maybe in midfield areas, as you mentioned, Keita? Because we've actually had a solid game in midfield against Bournemouth, but Bournemouth are no Liverpool, of course.
Yeah.
So where do you see the game being won and lost, for example, for Liverpool?
Yeah, I think Liverpool's strengths, and the way Klopp sets up his teams, DR, and the way Liverpool go after teams is through absolutely the midfield. Yes, where the creativity can come from, but it's mainly down our flanks, and it's mainly from Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mane on the right, and Robertson and Salah on the left. Everyone else really is there to get those guys on the ball, get them into space, get them one-on-one. And that's where our firepower comes from. So if we're going to break down Palace Wednesday night, I can't see anything changing. It'll be create space, pockets of space on the flanks, and get it wide to an on-running fullback who can cross into the box. Or else get the likes of Mane, one-on-one with, Patrick Van Aanholt, or on the other side, the right back for Palace at the moment is Joel Ward, exact Ward. Yeah. So Salah would fancy his chances there, and Robertson bypassing him maybe. So then obviously you're looking at the likes of Firmino, Keita, even Jordan Henderson coming in and maybe popping up with a goal. So but Liverpool's strength is in those four guys. You're talking Alexander-Arnold, Mane, Robertson and Salah. If those four are on the pitch Wednesday night, and if the intensity levels can go up, which I feel they will, because they just weren't there yesterday, I feel Liverpool would have the firepower to win the game. Now, Palace have their own firepower up the other side, and it's not going to be a walk in the park for Van Dijk and Gomez and the likes if that is the central defence partnership. Benteke is going to throw his weight around. Zaha will love going to Anfield, the open space, and showing what he can do. And Ayew as well is a guy who's just came into form as well, and he took his goal against Bournemouth brilliantly. I thought that wasn't an easy finish to control that ball and stick it away. So Palace have plenty of threats. The midfield, I think both sets of midfield have their workhorses, like you're talking about James McArthur, and Fabinho will probably cancel each other out in terms of protecting their back fours. And then it will really come down to the quality of the attackers on display. And I just think if Liverpool can get those guys back into their side that they were missing yesterday, we'll probably just have enough to eke out a result, I think.
Yeah. So how do you think Palace should approach this game? Watching Everton game, it seemed like Everton didn't sit back. They went at Liverpool. It caused a bit of trouble at times. Do you think Palace should do the same thing? You talked about intensity levels. If the intensity levels increase, there could be a chance that Liverpool could open up Palace if they do that. How do you think Palace should approach the game?
Yeah, I suppose it's difficult when you play against Liverpool, and again, Ancelotti referred to it yesterday after the game that he didn't want an open match. He didn't want an open game, because if you go open against Liverpool, then you're going to leave yourself, obviously, in real danger of conceding to Liverpool's pace and their quality. But obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I'd love if Palace came and played an open game at Anfield and took us on, because with that in mind, that you could catch them on the break. But I can't see Roy Hodgson doing that. I think he'll take a lot from Everton's approach. He'll know that there's times when maybe you can get at Liverpool, but you have to bide your time, and maybe as the game wears on and you're still in it, then maybe you can take a chance. But early on, I think Palace will probably be that little bit cautious. I can't see them going full on at the start. They might just maybe invite Liverpool onto them a little bit and see can Liverpool break Palace down. But again, they have to be conscious that they have in Zaha and Ayew fantastic pace on the break. And I mean, if there's any place to go and use that, it's Anfield. It's such a big pitch. It's nice and wide. It's made for fast players. And, as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are going forward, there are times when they can lose a bit of concentration at the back. and maybe just take their eye off the ball for a second. And that's where the likes of, as I said, the aforementioned AU and Zaha can punish you. So Palace will get chances. Even though Liverpool have been pretty good themselves with the clean sheets this season, they have coughed up goals in quite a few games and sloppy goals. So there will be chances there for Palace, but I just hope they don't take them, that's all.
Yeah, well, I of course hope the opposite, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But finally, you mentioned the lineup a bit there. What do you expect the lineup to be? And also, let's have your score predictions as well for the game.
Yeah, so I think if Robertson and Salah are fit, they come straight back into the side. So Robertson will come in. Liverpool are going to have a problem at left back if Robertson isn't fit, because Milner is injured. He did his hamstring yesterday. So if Robertson doesn't come in, then they're going to have to go with Gomez. Matip has a toe issue, so he could be a doubt, which means Lovren could have to partner Van Dijk, which
that would
any
be brilliant
Liverpool
for
fan
Palace.
will tell you wouldn't make us the most confident. So look, we'd be hoping that Robertson would be fit. He'd slot in at left back. Gomez would shift back into the centre with Van Dijk. So the back four would remain the same with Alexander-Arnold on the right. I don't think he'll change the starting midfield. I think he saw enough yesterday in Keita especially. Henderson is Henderson. I think he's been fantastic this season. He's up there for Player of the Year. And Fabinho is a guy that Klopp really likes. He does his job. He breaks up attacks and protects that back four. So I think the midfield won't change. And the obvious one then up front is Salah. If Salah is fit. I mean, if he was fit enough to be on the bench yesterday, then you'd like to think from Sunday to Wednesday, he should be okay to start. So he'll probably come in alongside Firmino and Mane. That's Liverpool's probably strongest lineup at this stage of the season. In terms of a score prediction, I think the fact that Palace are in good form, scoring goals, and that there's not that, I suppose, Liverpool won't have that home crowd backing them, the Kop especially. I think Palace can score. I definitely think they will score at Anfield. I just think Liverpool probably will have enough to score more. So, Score prediction, DR, I'm going to go for a 3-1 home win to Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it completely. It's expected from Liverpool at this stage to go on and beat Palace 3-1, especially after the Everton result. You have to go and kick on to make sure the title is done, even though you guys are basically won the league anyways. But
I think actually a big bearing on the game will be the City result on Monday night. Obviously, look, everyone expects City to beat Burnley, and it's not like we feel Liverpool are going to slip up and lose this title. I can't see it happening. But if Burnley were to pull off the shock of all shocks and even take 2 points off City, then that would leave Liverpool with knowing that if they beat Palace, they win the title at home at Anfield. So that would be another incentive for them. Now, I can't see that happening. But again, you never know. Football is funny. Burnley could go to the Etihad and surprise us all. And if it was on a plate for Liverpool to wrap up the title at home on Wednesday night against Palace, then the players would be jumping out of their skin. So that would be another factor. But all in all, I still think Liverpool should have enough if the lineup is as strong as I think it might be, and if the intensity levels are better from the Everton performance.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Sean. It was a pleasure having you on. Make sure to go and check them out on social media, and also, check out Sean's Twitter page as well. Let's have your predictions down below. Comment down below. Let us know what you think, how the game will go. And until next time, up the Palace.